That's what you think, and talk about me.
Alright y'all, so we're going to go over one of the most important things in Mobile Legends because there's been a new map released actually, and they've changed a lot. Like, they've added crab to the map, they've changed the location of some of the monsters in the jungle. I decided to do this video so I can kind of help you all get the farming down and kind of have like your own strategies when it comes to farming and trying to become fed as quickly as possible. The gameplay you're going to be watching in the background, you'll actually notice that my team, it wasn't looking too promising at the beginning, but because of the fact that I actually took the time to farm, like it's all about decision making. You got to make the right decisions at the right times. So because sometimes I sacrificed a tower or something, or I sacrificed a teammate if I saw that I couldn't get over there in time to save them or something, and then I just continued farming while my team was fighting like futile fights. Yeah, that allowed me to actually get fed a lot quicker, and I was the most fed person in the game, this game, and it was all because of the farming. And also, one of the biggest mistakes that the other team made was they didn't farm, or they didn't try to farm our jungle at all. And one of the biggest mistakes our own team made is they didn't try to farm at all. Like, nobody in that entire game was farming. So that's one of the biggest mistakes, and that's the reason that I was so much stronger than everyone else. Like, people have to start understanding just how huge farming is in Mobile Legends. Farming is pretty much everything, because if I'm level 15 and you all are level 11, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to get absolutely obliterated, and that's pretty much what happened. Like, towards the end of the game, the Freya started going off too on my team, so yeah, shout out to that Freya. But at the end of the game, it's not like anybody could have stood a chance against me anyway, because I was just too much of a higher level than all of them. So that's one of the things that you really want to go for in the game. You have to, especially when you're ADC. This is mainly a guide for ADC, because when it comes to the support characters, you're really just supposed to be supporting your team, so it's not that crucial that you're super fed anyway. You really want your damage to be super fed, because really everyone else is just supporting that damage. Like, if you take the time and get your support fed, okay, then what? Like, so that's really what it comes down to, the decision making. So most strategies when you're playing with a team should probably be based around the ADC. That's why it's called attack damage carry. That's what that role is. And if you don't know what the ADC is, it's basically just a marksman, but it stands for attack damage carry, and you're supposed to be attacking, dealing damage, and carrying your team. And there's a reason for that role. That's probably the most important role, because it doesn't matter how fed the support get. Like, your support can be like super fed and it still won't be as effective. Like, even if you get a fighter super fed, it's not going to do much if the other team's ADC is even kind of doing well, because a fighter has to jump in there. If a fighter jumps in there, the other team's ADC is pretty decent, they can just wipe out the fighter quickly still. Even if the fighter is super fed, it doesn't matter if you have to get close range, because you can't get a hit on somebody no matter how strong you are. And that's probably why you want to focus on farming with your ADC. So anyway, getting into the actual farming tips, the absolute quickest way to get fed in this game is going middle lane and taking all the jungle. So luckily we didn't have a jungler in this game. We had two mages, we had a tank, we had two mages, a tank, and oh no, we didn't have two mages. One of the mages, we started out this game with two mages, and one of the mages switched. So they switched one of the mages switched to a tank, and then we had an Estes. So we had support, and then we had a Freya. So yeah, luckily nobody was really farming jungle. Freya was doing it a little bit, but not really. So yeah, luckily what I did, I went to the middle lane, I took out all the minions there. I actually used my, what is it called, Fury? I think they changed the name of it. It was called Fury, whatever that ability is that allows you to shoot a lot quicker. I used that ability on Mia, and then I used her A ability. You definitely want to use her A ability first, because that allows you to really just wipe out minions and stuff very quickly. So yeah, I do that first, and then I always go to the right side, because I take out the middle lane and I try to keep the other team's ADC back. I try to, like, if you can take out all of the minions in the middle lane before your other before the person you're going against takes them out, then you're going to be ahead of them when it comes to farming. And that's really the goal. Like, I use my arrows to push the other team's ADC back, and then I just sprayed them down with everything that I had. I sprayed those minions down, so while I went to start farming, he was still trying to handle those minions. So yeah, that's pretty much the strategy I like to go for. I like to push the middle lane back as much as possible, then I run farm real quick, then go back. So you use your Fury or whatever it's called as soon as you get it, like pretty much all the time. So then after I took out that middle lane, I went to the jungles on the right side, because I always like to go for the red buff first, because it really does a lot for a marksman. So I take out the red buff first, then I try to farm everything there, and I also tried to go for that turtle. If it made sense, if I saw that everyone on the mini map was accounted for, I could see where everyone was. And I also saw, like, early game, I knew that the Bruno, I knew that I was keeping him held off. I knew that he was pretty much useless when it came to like trying to challenge me. So if he was going for the tower, like if I knew he had enough time to take out the minion waves and then try to attack the tower if he wanted to, it really didn't bother me because I knew he couldn't do that much damage to the tower because I was already stronger than him and I was keeping him from getting as fed as he could have been. So yeah, that's why it's crucial, just even making people take a few seconds longer when it comes to farming. They don't have time to go and farm their jungle. Like if you can make their farming process longer and yours shorter, you're really going to be dominating things. So yeah, that's why I was going for the crab. I went for the turtle. I was pretty much going for everything. I went for the crab, turtle, everything on the right side. Then I went, but first, before I went for farming, I can't even talk right now, but before I went for farming, the one thing that I did focus on was my teammates. The first thing that I did was go down and make sure my teammates was okay because I saw them, they had pretty low health. I saw them getting into altercations and stuff. So I went down there to make sure they didn't need help before I went back to farming. So it's very important for an ADC to farm, but you also have to keep in mind it's very important for you to not let your team die. You're the main source of damage, so if people need some help, you're pretty much the ideal person who can do it. In early game, you're not going to be as useful as you could be, but you have a greater chance of being useful than anyone else because you're the one who's dealing the most damage. So, I mean, Freya has crowd control, so that was a very great pick for this game as well. But yeah, it's definitely your job to roam around as well. You don't just stay in one lane. You never just stay in your lane. You never stay in middle lane. You roam around. If it looks like your teammates need help, you go check them out. You go check it out, make sure everything's okay. If it is, then you go back to farming. So yeah, I went to make sure my teammates was okay first. Then I went to farm in the jungle. I took turtle. I took our red. Then I cleared the middle lane again. By the time I did all that, the middle lane, he had pushed it up. I cleared the middle lane again, pushed it back. Then I went to the left side, took purple, took that crab, and then I went back to the middle, cleared that lane again, and it's just like a rotation like that. I always start from right. I make sure the right lane is okay, then I go to the left. Unless the top lane, if the top lane is getting destroyed by the other team or something, then of course you want to make it your priority to get over there as quickly as possible. Like I said, you put your team first. Always put your team first and try to support your team as much as possible. And keep in mind, it is your job to stay alive, so you have to be selective with how you support your team. You can't just go out there running right through the middle of jungle, because then you'll probably die. Because especially if you're going up against assassins, they'll probably be expecting you and they'll probably be waiting for you. So you don't go in high traffic areas. So basically, if you know that assassins are going to be roaming right through the lake, you don't want to be going through the lake to get to where you got to go. You want to go around the long way. Even though it's going to take you longer to get to your teammates, it's better that you stay alive. Like, even if your teammates have to die, you don't want that to happen, but even if they have to die in order for you to stay alive, then that's just what it has to be, because your life is the most valuable life, because you're going to be able to do the most damage. If you go down trying to help your teammates and the other team's ADC is still up, then they're going to be getting more fed than you, and they're going to have the advantage when it comes to the team fights, because their ranged ADC is going to be the one capable of destroying you because you went down. So yeah, definitely still value your life, but make sure you always try to help out your teammates. But yeah, that's pretty much my biggest strategy for getting fed. And also, one thing that I do want to say is it helps out a lot to buy the hunter's knife or the jungle item, whatever knife it is. You go to jungle in the shop and you get the first knife that's there, and that allows you to kill minions a little bit quicker, so that helps out a lot too. But yeah, just make sure you're using your fury, you're using all of everything you have. Like, especially when it comes to Mia, she's quite easy to farm with. She's quite easy to become fed with, because she has this crazy insane attack speed. So yeah, that's definitely a hero that I'd recommend you trying out, especially if you want to have a huge advantage over your teammates. My Scarf, he's still pretty viable as well, but I just don't think he has the same type of I don't think he's as viable as Mia, in my opinion. He's definitely not as viable as her, in my opinion, but he still can do a lot of work in team fights, because yeah, he actually can knock all your teammates together and spray through them all and stuff like that. So yeah, he can definitely still be viable, but I think that there's just many more viable picks now. And Mia being one of those, because of how quickly she can attack. Like they left the middle lane for a second and I took out that tower. Well, he actually didn't even leave. It was really nothing that he could do because I was poking at him so much. I got his health low and he stood right by the middle tower while I took the tower down, and it was literally like a 3 to 5 second thing, and it was early game. It was before I was super fed. Like late game, she just melts through towers, and that's one of the reasons that I always tell people, you don't want to, like, when you're playing the game, you don't want to start poking at towers and trying to take towers and stuff. Focus on farming, focus on getting fed. Well, everyone can do that, but just really defend your lane. You just really have to defend your lane, poke at the enemy team, make sure they don't get fed and stuff. If you have some time to go poke at their towers, then yeah, go poke at their towers, but don't risk your life to do it because it's not that important. As long as the ADC is getting fed, the ADC will be able to take out that tower in seconds. So it doesn't matter, like, you just can't let the other team take our towers. That's really the biggest deal. And I think that people start panicking when they see that the other team take a tower or something. They be like, oh my god, my team's bad, we're gonna lose. And they get that negative mindset when they're not realizing that, yo, your teammate's the best one in the game. Like, a lot of times my team has forfeited and it's cost me a win because I was farming and I sacrificed the tower in order to farm. They didn't understand that, okay, I'm level 15 right now, everyone on their team is level 11. All they saw was the fact that they took a tower. They were like, oh my god, we're going to lose because we lost a tower. They didn't realize I could melt the entire team in seconds. So yeah, you definitely want to, it's a strategy game. You have to think, you have to use your mind, and you have to do what's best for the long game. Sometimes you have to play the long game. It's not smart to stand around a tower just in case someone attacks it. If you see that if you push your minions up and they're forward towards the other team's tower, and there's no one in sight, then you go farm, go help out your teammates, go do something that's more valuable to the team, because you shouldn't just be standing around wasting time. If you're standing around doing nothing, you're not really helping anyone. So yeah, go help the ADC jungle or whatever. Go, if you have a jungler who's actually properly jungling, and that might be something to touch on as well. If you have somebody who's properly jungling and it's their job to jungle, then you should probably help them out, and that will allow you to get fed as well. But you obviously won't get as fed as if you were just jungling by yourself. So you all really have to have some type of agreement and kind of know what everyone's going to go for. Like if it's a Karina, you probably want to give the Karina the purple buff, and if you're and you probably want to still get the red buff, because a red buff really won't do much on a Karina. It really depends on the characters. It depends on a lot when you start going into specifics like that. So this is basically a basic guide about how to maneuver around this new map and how to really get fed really quickly. So yeah, these are just some of the tips that I have. Let me know what you think about this. Do you have some tips that you'd like to try, and do you have tips that you would like me to try? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you drop that thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'm gonna catch you all on the next one. Peace out.
If that's what you think, then talk about